Matthew 14. Starting in 1354. When he come to his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, "Where did this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Where then did this man get all these things?" So they were offended at him. But Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor, except in his own country and in his own house." Now he did not do many mighty works there, because of their unbelief. At that time Herod the Tetrarch heard the report about Jesus, and said to his servants, "This is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead, and therefore these powers are at work in him." For Herod had laid hold of John, and bound him, and put him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because John had said to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." And although he wanted to put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was celebrated, the daughter of Herodias danced before them, and it pleased Herod. Therefore he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. So she, having been prompted by her mother, said, "Give me John the Baptist's head here on a platter." And the king was sorry. Nevertheless, because of the oaths and because of those who sat with him, he commanded it to be given to her. So he sent and had John beheaded in prison. And his head was brought on a platter and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. Then his disciples came and took away the body and buried it, and went and told Jesus. When Jesus heard this, he departed from there by boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the multitudes heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. And when Jesus went out, he saw a great multitude, and he was moved with compassion for them, and healed their sick. When it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Send the multitudes away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food." But Jesus said to them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish. He said, "Bring them here to me." Then he commanded the multitudes to sit down on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples gave it to the multitudes. So they all ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments that remained. Now those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the multitudes. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now when evening came, he was alone there. But their boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went to them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It's a ghost!" And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer, it is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it's you, command me to come to you on the water." So he said, "Come on." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me!" And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him, and said to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." When they had crossed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret. And when the men of that place recognized him, they sent out into all that surrounding region, bringing to him all who were sick, and begged him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. And as many as it touched it were made perfectly well. Matthew chapter 14. So I always thought, not always, I thought this up while I was sick. So forgive me if this is wrong. I was imagining Jesus walking in his godly power after the death of his prophet, his friend, his cousin John, and that he knows what's going to happen, and so I picture him as being the center of the storm, of this maelstrom that's rocking the boat. Like there wasn't a storm when they left, but Jesus came out, and the winds and the waves, and he was just walking and being God-man on earth. And hence, so when he got into the boat, then they were in the eye of the storm again. I hope that doesn't make you angry. Cherish his new love. Be well. If you don't know, I will use a prayer. Yay. And because apparently it's warm enough. Look, I got an open jacket for the youth to come and steal from me again. I tracked them all the way down to the river. So I know that one has a smaller foot than me and the other one has nearly the same size. And I do believe the one that has nearly the same size foot as me is not the one that stepped up here and took this. But that quite possibly, because they came from here and no one else would come this way, that it was someone who has been here before and they were bringing him in to steal from me and show off this area. So I guess what I'm praying for is that whatever that child is will become a disciple, and whoever the child, adult, man, boy was that brought him here will be convicted by the Holy Spirit deep within his soul that such acts are wrong against those who provide you with shelter and warmth and comfort, and listen to your problems and everything else that goes along and dispenses advice, because I am 30 years older than they are. Cherish his new love. Be well.